Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another rather silly review of the Star Trek The Official Starships Collection. Wow, I actually said that right this time. Featuring this time issue 18 and 19 respectively. Issue 17 being the USS Dauntless, issue 18 being the Bajoran Solar Sailor. You have to forgive me because I've already put the magazines in their binder. But anyway, let's get started. So here we have, if I can get this straight, where's a music stand when you need one, right? Anyway, here we have focus. The USS Dauntless, as featured in the episode of Star Trek Voyager called Hope and Fear. You have a nice high-res image on the cover here. And we have the specification. Basically, this ship is an alien ship, but it looks like a Starfleet ship, as shown in the episode. Constructed by Species 116, destroyed and or assimilated by the Borg in 2374. It's 204.82 meters, deck 7, crew of 1. And the top speed is warp 9.99999 infinity, I guess. Its method of propulsion is impulse and warp engines, and the main enchilada, the quantum slipstream drive, which actually was the first appearance of that in Star Trek in this episode, Hope and Fear. Anyway, so we have another great image of the ship and a little bit of bio about it and the episode that it appeared in. Here is the alien Arturus. I think that's how you say his name, right? He was a member of Species 118, but evidently his species was assimilated by the Borg, and the whole episode revolves around his revenge against Captain Janeway, because as it turns out, her earlier deal with the Borg to get through their space in the episode Scorpion Part 1 and 2, by her making this deal with the Borg, his entire planet was assimilated by the Borg, and his species nearly wiped out. So, he's kind of upset with her about that. So, I guess in order to lure her into the Borg and to take his revenge, he took his own ship, which is the Dauntless, and did a little holographic tinkering to make it look like an actual Starfleet ship in order to fool the crew. So anyway, moving along, we have more information about the ship with some nice images and screen caps from the episode. Nice image here. Here is Arturus with Valana Taurus, and here's the final image of the Dauntless as we last saw it at the end of the episode when it enters Borg space. Basically, to summarize the whole thing, as I just said in an even better way, when Voyager entered Borg space, they discovered that the Borg were in a war with the advanced extra-dimensional race known as Species 8472. Captain Janeway came to the conclusion that Species 8472 posed an even greater threat than the Borg, and gave the collective a weapon that helped them fight the Borg. Wait a minute. What did I just say? No. That gave the Borg the ability to fight Species 8472. Well, as a result of this, Arturus' race, which is, again, Species 116, were assimilated shortly afterwards and nearly wiped out. So here we are, the centerfold page of the ship. You can't really see it all the way because I put it in the binder. Basically showing where everything is. And the page, which I always find fascinating, it shows the concept art and how the producers went about designing the ship, and their different ideas and concepts behind it. Real cool. another page here with a nice early concept image of what the ship looked like. Sure is kind of strange looking at it because you think back to how primitive the software was compared to now. And here we have below 3 great images of the ship. I guess as it went through a transformation of how they wanted the color scheme to look like. You can see the differences here in colors. And here we go with what I call the magazine filler. Since this ship only appeared in one episode, and never again, there really isn't that much information about it. So they had to fill the magazine somehow. So they this time put a section on 7 of 9, everyone's favorite sexy Borg drone from Star Trek Voyager. Now, for those of you who don't know this, Star Trek Voyager in the first 3 seasons was, well, a little boring. And the ratings weren't all that great. So the producers decided to spice things up a bit. So they added this really strong female character, played by Jeri Ryan. She's a former Borg drone human, liberated by Captain Janeway and her crew. And yeah, it's almost like overnight the ratings shot up. I mean, why wouldn't they if they have a hot lady like this on the show? But anyway, so this section's about her and her concept and creation. More about her costume design and so forth. It's interesting to note that Seven's costume went through a number of changes, especially in the first couple of episodes. She wore this skin-tight suit, but I guess it cut off some circulation in her body, and she kind of fainted a few times. So they decided to go with the more updated look, which I don't think they really show. No, they don't. Anyway, here we are, the last page. Again, with some key information. It appeared in the episode Hope and Fear. It has not appeared in any movies or other shows. Its final appearance was in Hope and Fear, the same episode, and it was designed by Rick Sternbach. Little piece of trivia here. This fellow here is the same actor who played Arturus in the Hope and Fear episode. He played a Mintakan named Liko in the Next Generation episode called Who Watches the Watchers. So for those of you who are not Star Trek fans, you already know this. Wait, for those of you who are Star Trek fans, you already know this. For those of you who are not fans, basically, a lot of actors and actresses have played multiple characters and multiple roles throughout the various shows and movies simply because the makeup conceals their true identity and can make them look like anyone or anything else. So a lot of times you'll see an actor under completely different makeup even though they played a different character previously. And another piece of interesting trivia that I suspected but wasn't entirely sure was that in the Star Trek Enterprise episode from season 3, which was a prequel to the original series, the Dauntless, or a Dauntless looking like ship, a look-alike ship, appeared in a brief nanosecond in the episode as a flyby while Captain Archer was on the bridge of the Enterprise J about 800 years in the future. So I'm guessing it's reasonable to assume that at some point in the future Starfleet creates a design kind of sort of like the Dauntless and uses it in the future. So anyway, that's the Dauntless. The next one up is the Bajoran Solar Sailor, which I will be covering shortly. So here's the back cover, and let's get to the ship. I'm always afraid I'm going to break these things taking it out. Now, initial impressions. Pretty cool, I must admit that I was looking forward to this one for the simple fact that this is one of those ships that have never been made before. Out of all the various model companies and toy lines and so on and so forth, it seems that no one really has taken the time to create ships that span across the entire I guess, diverse universe of Star Trek. Usually we get the same old Enterprise, Enterprise A, B, C, D, occasionally E, maybe the standard Klingon battlecruiser or bird of prey or Romulan ship or something, but we never really get the more obscure things like this one. You know, I can see why. I mean, it's only appeared in one episode, but shit, it looks pretty darn cool. And basically, that's one of the reasons why I subscribed to this collection, because years ago, as a kid, I remember watching episodes like Hope and Fear when the ship was in, and thinking to myself, man, I wish I had a model or diecast, or, I'll admit it, a toy to play with and have these little stupid battles in my bedroom when no one's around. But, you know, as they say, better late than never. So even though I'm 30, it's nice to have these ships now and the awesome detail. This one in particular, you know, look at the detailing on that. Paint applications look great. Come on, camera focus. Be with me here. The registry. USS Dauntless. Focus. Focus. Anyway. Dauntless NX-01-A. Got the underside, which is the quantum slipstream drive, the warp nacelles. Pretty cool. Yeah, part plastic, part metal. But overall, I'm very happy with this. Yeah, this is probably one of my favorites so far. Again, I was really looking forward to this one because it's never been made before in physical form. And the one thing that I forgot to point out earlier while covering the magazine is that this ship in particular, they never actually made a model of it as far as for use in filming. There was never a model built to be used for the camera or anything like that. This ship was solely created using CGI and computers. So I guess it was easier for the producers to make this ship do some amazing things and do some things that the camera, I guess, would not be able to do with a physical model. I'm not entirely sure, but this is one of those ships that they used, that they constructed entirely of CGI. So this physical model that I have in my hand, the design and its appearance in the show was all from a computer generated image, which is pretty darn cool in itself. The fact that they can take technology now and actually create a physical model based on a computer image is pretty remarkable. Anyway, so that's the Dauntless. Pretty happy with it. So yeah, that's it. Let's move on to the next one.